high expectations here. You know, in the past, I've had my roadshow buddy Anna Wade, and we've had song and dance and pictures. But we're a little bit down this morning. Anna called me. Her husband Bill is under the weather, and so she's taking him to the doctor. So I'm flying solo, but have some support here, and Joe Rushton is going to join us as well. So this past year was an exciting year for the Companion Relationship Committee and the work that we're doing. Before Jesus started his ministry, at the very beginning of it, before you got the Great Commission, the go and do, he said, come and see. And that is what we did this year. We went and they came, and we all saw. And so this past April, then Bishop Wright and a delegation from Delaware went down to Mexico City. We met with Bishop Carlos, as well as many other representatives from the diocese, and we got to see many parishes throughout the diocese, both within Mexico City, which is not nearly as big and scary a city as it, I think, seems in all of our heads. It's actually very low, very green, cobblestone streets in many cases, and it's beautiful. And we met all the wonderful people there, and then we went to these small parishes where the only thing that we could communicate with in many cases was the common language of food. And so we ate at least 7 meals in the course of 3 hours, but it was okay because you smile, and that's what being friends is about. Yeah, and so then we saw old and new. We saw the relationship that was initiated between Bishop Lee, our first bishop, and the church in Mexico when he traveled down to Mexico in the 1870s and helped to establish the Anglican Church in Mexico. We saw the actual parchment there, and it was such a neat connection. And then when we went out to St. Paul's and San Miguel, we saw another piece of paper that was the covenant between St. Peter's Louis and St. Paul's and San Miguel, which is a current relationship that they have parish to parish. And so we come full circle. And this past October, then we welcomed Madre Sally and Padre Fernando. Mother Sally is one of the first deans of the cathedral in Latin America. And they both came up. Unfortunately, Bishop Carlos was sick, and he will be joining us in May this year. But we got to show Sally and Fernando the great state of Delaware. And thank you to all of those who were involved in that. And so, rather than show you pictures, we're going to tell you some stories about that visit and what it means.
Buenos días, soy Alejandra Garcia, and I guess we all need to start practicing our Spanish now, huh? But I was blessed to have the opportunity to have dinner with Padre Fernando and Dean Sally when they arrived in the States, and then when they were in Newark, we had a very busy schedule for them. And they met some of our parishioners at St. Thomas. They toured the school that I work at, which is a dual language school. So that was wonderful because we got to show them how the Hispanic culture and the Spanish language is present in the United States and in Delaware, and how the community, we have a huge Hispanic community. Then they toured University of Delaware. They had lunch at UD. And then that Sunday, my youth group from St. Thomas had the opportunity to go hear Padre Fernando preach at Trinity in Wilmington. So that was a wonderful experience as well. But what Episcopal Campus Ministry is most excited about is being able to go to Mexico City this spring, during our spring break, and do mission work there, and meet the people there, and just spend time there as they spend time with us, and hopefully help them in ways that they have helped us. Thank you.
So in their whirlwind tour of Delaware, they also came to visit Camp Arrowhead. And it was really nice to walk around the property and kind of explain the things that we do there, and to see their faces light up with all the ways that we thought we would be able to partner with one another. There's lots of conversation about possibly having someone from the Diocese of Mexico be part of our staff training so that they've met our staff and they sort of know how things work. We've talked about possible staff exchanges where we have students come work on our staff alongside us in the summer. We've talked about the possibility of older campers. It gets a little tricky when you try to travel with students that don't have their parents with them out of the country. So we'll have to be really creative, but it was wonderful to see the beginnings of all these ideas and ways that we could share in our life and ministry together.
Joe Rushton, St. Paul's in Georgetown. Having looked at the companion diocese visitation schedule, we decided in true Southern Delaware form to slow it down a bit. And we had some wonderful opportunities for them to see firsthand and have some inspiration and explanation of the various ministries supporting the Latino community in Southern Delaware. In particular, Primeros Pasos, the bilingual multicultural preschool, which is housed in St. Paul's facility and supported by the diocese and by St. Paul's, in a cost share arrangement. And then also to see the wonderful work of La Esperanza, which is really working towards social justice and integration for those people who have immigrated to the United States and whose first language is not English. And as anyone who meets the sisters who work at La Esperanza, they were truly inspired by the compassion and the dignity with which they treat their clients. And then we kind of slowed them down on the way by breaking down a few of their cars. And so we all sort of used my car, and it really slowed us down. We had a lovely time going down. Yeah, all the cars going down. Yes, don't get on this committee. Your cars break and it costs you a fortune. We were hosted by St. Martha's. They didn't know we were coming for lunch, but as the schedule went on, it became apparent that we might be hungry, and they were very gracious and proud to show off their hospitality in their new facility. And then we passed them on to Camp Arrowhead, and then eventually to the communities in Rehoboth and Lewis, who hosted us for an absolutely wonderful evening dinner and hospitality. So it was a wonderful experience, and St. Paul's is on board for whatever comes down the pike. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, everybody. Could the members of the committee and those that were involved with the October visit, if you were involved in any way, if we visited your parish at all, could you just stand up to so we can acknowledge you and your work? Really appreciate it. Thank you. What's exciting about Mexico, the relationship between Mexico and Delaware, is Mexico is both urban and rural as we are, and has about the same number of parishes as we do, and it was great to be able to experience all of Delaware, despite landing in Route 9 water. Don't drive through standing water. It's just a good idea. As much as it seems like you're going to make it. And so what's next is that Bishop Carlos, who wasn't able to join us on this trip, is going to be coming to visit us in May. So stay tuned for that. And we will be going down to Mexico again this year to formalize the covenant, what it means to be in relationship. I think we're all sort of asking, this sounds really cool, but what do I do? What does this mean? And so we're going to put some parameters around that and some guidelines to help us all as parishes. So, but be thinking about what this could mean for your parish, whether that's through prayer or action, and we're going to look to roll things out in the fall. And as we did this whirlwind tour, then I think Father Fernando summed it up best when he said we visited, and you could see this exhaustion in his face the last night, and he said we visited too many places, met too many people, ate too much food, but we experienced too much love. And it was such a great way to put it. I mean, what a compliment, and what an aspiration to live into too much love. So what does that mean? Thank you.